Hi, my name is Adam Jhaver. I chose option 4 of the project, interview the CEO of a nonprofit organization. I sat down with my good friend Kalechi and we discussed how and why he created a nonprofit at the University of Houston. We discussed the organization's future goals and reflected on difficult decisions that the organization has had to make in the past. I hope you enjoy, and I hope the video is not too long. All right, I'm here with
Kalechi Rebu.
You want to tell me a little bit about your nonprofit organization?
Of course. So I founded the Cougar Closet at the University of Houston.
Cougar Closet.
Cougar Closet. Kalechi Rebu created the Cougar Closet.
What we do at the closet is provide free clothing to students that are in need.
That's awesome. So how did you come about starting this organization?
So in 2020, I started by hosting a clothing drive, and man, the feedback from the students, it was a lot. So I realized that there was opportunity for a more permanent resource. So that's when I hit the ground running and created a proposal, and now we have the closet.
And how has the closet evolved over time?
So over time, like I said, it started as a clothing drive, and now we've gone to service over, I want to say 4,000 students. 4,000 students have been able to use our resource and get clothes.
Can you describe the Cougar Closet's work and programs?
Right, so initially the closet had a standalone building.
Inside the University of Houston's Welcome Center.
Polos up here.
So students are able to come from 10 to 6 and pick out 3 free items and every Friday.
That's awesome. How does that make your organization unique from others?
So, as I mentioned, we give out clothes for free, right? A lot of different organizations, they charge you, right? Even the Salvation Armies, the Goodwills, they're all, requiring you to pay, but we free of charge. All you have to have is a student ID.
So what do students really value about your organization?
Just to piggyback off what I said earlier, I mean, they're not having to pay anything, right? They're not having to pay anything on top of all the pressures of being a college student, paying tuition, having to buy those expensive textbooks. We're not requiring them to pay not a single penny. Just have a student ID.
And what kind of results has the closet achieved?
So honestly, the craziest thing, right? In only 2 years, we've been able to service over 4,000 students. We've received university awards, news coverage. Honestly, you name it. Honestly, the biggest achievement to me is just that students are benefiting.
That's awesome. And how has your program improved over time?
So over time, we've seen an increase in students, utilizing our resource. We've received some funding. Yeah, I think those are really the 2 biggest things, because it doesn't really take much to operate, right? So it's really just having the need and having the clothes.
And in the next 3 to 5 years, where do you see yourself with the closet, or where do you see the closet at?
With the closet specifically, I see maybe other universities adopting it. I envision maybe a central location for all students in the Houston area, being able to benefit elementary school, middle school, junior high, high school, not just the University of Houston.
And beyond that, Kalechi hopes to eventually expand to HISD schools.
And let's say to get a closet in more universities, what kind of obstacles would be in the way?
I think one of the biggest obstacles is proving the need, and also receiving funding. I feel like funding is really the huge piece, right? You can prove the need, but really to receive that funding, a lot of universities may be hesitant to fork that over, for a resource that isn't making them money, right? We don't charge the students.
And how much of next year's revenue will come from the same sources as this year's?
The only funding that we have received is from departments on campus, essentially giving up some of the funding from the university that's allotted to them and just, cutting it over to us.
Right.
So it was more so like a one-time thing. So not really any funding, but also we don't really require funding.
That is true.
We don't really need money. We can operate with $0.
So do you guys plan on increasing funding over time, since you guys don't necessarily require it?
Over time, it definitely would benefit the closet, but it's really just comes from a servant's heart, right? Just wanting to give.
Right.
We can't, we're blessed with all the money that we receive, but we're not really pressed for money.
So now for your leadership team and your team on campus running the closet, where is that team strong and where is that team, need development?
I would say that we're the strongest in really our passion. Talking about a servant's heart, I feel like everyone on the team really loves to give. Everyone really loves to be a part of the team and give back to the students, especially because they're students themselves. So they understand that struggle, and then where we could use development. I don't know. They definitely do a good job, not only with the servant's heart, but honestly making something out of nothing, right? Like I said, no funding, no nothing. They're stellar. They're phenomenal.
What is the hardest decision that the closet has had to make recently, and how did you evaluate that decision?
The hardest decision that the closet had to make recently. So initially we were in a standalone building, so students were able to come to us and check out every Friday. We had to essentially pivot, and now we're more so like a pop-up. Still every Friday, students are still able to come, receive clothing, but now now it's less of them coming to us and more of us coming to the students. Instead of having that building air conditioned, students are able to come in. Now it's kind of hot. We're in Houston, so having to make that pivot, bring all the racks outside, bring all the clothes outside is definitely different than the vision we had intended.
So you'd prefer for it to be inside like a location for sure?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And then last question, what do you personally spend most of your time on?
Most of my time, you could probably find me trying to create something, right? Create something that'll benefit someone, whether it's raising money for charity, whether it's putting on an event for students, whether it's putting on an event for my community, whatever the case may be. That's where I receive most of my joy and where I'm most passionate about.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you for coming on this interview.
I appreciate it. Of course.
From this interview, I learned that organizations and businesses will always need to adapt to stay above water. But the biggest takeaway of all is that Kelechi did all of this when he was my age. There is no age requirement to becoming a successful entrepreneur. You can be young and full of fresh ideas, or older with years of experience. You can start your entrepreneurial journey at any time. With today's resources, there are a plethora of tools that can turn your idea into reality. Thank you for watching.